Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a storm. Not a storm of thunder or rain, but a storm of emotion. A fight with someone you love. A betrayal at work. A message on your phone that shatters your peace. Your heart races. Your fists clench. Your mind wants to scream. And in that fragile, heated moment, you face a choice. Do you react? Explode? Shut down? Say something you'll regret? Or do you pause? Take a breath. Because in that breath lies a doorway. Not an escape, but a path to mastery. You can't always control the storm, but you can choose how you walk through it. And that, my friend, is a power greater than most people ever realize. Today we explore that power, the ability to respond, not react. This isn't just emotional self-control. It's a way of living, a mindset, a philosophy, practiced by some of the greatest minds in human history. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor. Epictetus, once a slave. Seneca, a statesman and teacher. They didn't live in calm times. They lived in chaos, or loss, exile, betrayal, and yet, they found what most of us are still searching for. By mastering the one thing no one could ever take from them, their minds. Marcus wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." So let's go back to that moment. The argument, the news, the broken promise. Yes, the storm is real. Yes, the pain is real. But the suffering? That is optional. The Stoics believe that between stimulus and response, there is a sacred space, and in that space lives your freedom. To pause, to breathe, to choose, to respond with intention, rather than react out of impulse. We live in a world that moves too fast. News, notifications, comparison, pressure. Everything is urgent. Everything is loud. And we get swept away. We shout before we listen. We post before we think. We act before we breathe. But what if you didn't? What if, in the middle of the madness, you became still? What if your peace didn't depend on how calm the world is, but on how steady your heart has become? That person isn't a fantasy. You don't need to invent them. They already exist within you. You were born with that strength. You just forgot. And today you remember. Here's what the Stoics knew. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You're not even your thoughts. You are the one who observes them and chooses what to do with them. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think about that. How much of your pain came not from what happened, but from how you responded? The sleepless nights, reliving a conversation, the guilt over words you can't take back, the anxiety over things that never even happened. Now imagine if you could change that. Not the past, but the future. Imagine facing the same storm, and this time, you don't explode. You don't run. You stay grounded. You respond. You may still feel the storm, but now you are not the storm. This is the gift of Stoicism. Not immunity to life, but immunity to unnecessary suffering. Not apathy, but presence. Not coldness, but clarity. And it all begins with one decision: to live with intention. So ask yourself, when life tests you, do you explode or endure with wisdom? When someone disappoints you, do you retreat or rise with understanding? Because how you respond to life is your life. So let's begin. Let's step into the art of responding, not reacting. Let's walk the same path Marcus, Epictetus, and Seneca once walked. Let's reclaim the strength that was always ours. One breath at a time. One pause at a time. One choice at a time. Part 1, the power of the pause. It sounds simple, just pause. But in the heat of the moment, when tension rises, anger flares, or fear tightens its grip, pausing can feel nearly impossible. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because in that one quiet second of stillness, you decide the direction of your entire day, sometimes even the direction of your life. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius, writing to himself by candlelight, reminded his soul, "Be like the rocky cliff against which the waves continually crash. but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. The cliff doesn't fight the waves. It doesn't panic. It holds. That's what we're learning to become. A mind so grounded, so practiced in awareness, that it doesn't flinch with every crashing emotion. When you pause, even for a single breath, you're telling the chaos, "You don't control me." Let's be real, our instincts want to snap. We want to bite back, defend ourselves, fire off the last word. But instinct isn't destiny, and reaction is not character. When you pause, you create space. And in that space, something rare and powerful appears. Choice. The choice to rise above regret. The choice to stop the escalation. The choice to lead your life, rather than be pulled by every emotional wave. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." He wasn't blaming you, he was giving you your power back. Because if your mind plays a role in the reaction, then your mind also holds the key to something better. You don't pause to suppress your feelings. You pause to observe them. You don't deny anger, you study it. You don't run from fear, you sit with it. And in that pause, you become something rare in this world. The commander, not the captive. Let's bring it down to earth. You get cut off in traffic. Your hand flies to the horn. You're ready to yell. But instead, you pause. You whisper to yourself, "Their urgency is not my emergency." You exhale. Your body relaxes. And your peace remains intact. Or maybe it's your partner, again with that same old comment, that same tone. You feel the fire rising in you. But instead of lashing out, you breathe. You step away for 5 seconds, maybe 5 minutes. Then you speak, not from ego but from intention. That is the power of the pause. And yes, it's hard at first. You're rewiring decades of instinct. But don't expect perfection. Expect progress. The Stoics trained daily, not to become cold or robotic, but to become masters of their own energy. They knew life would test them, so they practiced for it. Now, you are too. Each pause sharpens your awareness. Each pause strengthens your foundation. Each pause plants the seed of peace in a world addicted to noise and speed. So the next time emotion rises, remember, you don't have to fight the wave. You just have to be the cliff. Steady, rooted, deliberate. That is the power of the pause. Part 2. Reframing the narrative. There's a moment, maybe you've lived it, when something just falls apart. A plan collapses. A job rejection lands in your inbox. Someone you trusted lets you down. And in that moment, your mind quietly whispers, "Why is this happening to me?" That question is the doorway to suffering. But what if you change the question? What if instead you asked, "What is this here to teach me?" This is the shift the Stoics mastered. They called it the art of reframing. They believed that while we can't control what happens, we always control what it means to us. And in that meaning lies our greatest power. Marcus Aurelius, facing wars, plagues, betrayal, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To the Stoics, an obstacle wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a better path. This isn't blind optimism. It's clarity. It's the courage to look at reality and say, "I will use this." Reframing doesn't mean pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's not toxic positivity. It's a deep, deliberate decision to find value even in pain. Seneca put it this way, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a person perfected without trials." That frustration? It's polishing you. That heartbreak? It's refining you. That delay? It's shaping your patience. Reframing won't change the event, but it will change you. And when you change, everything shifts. Let's bring it to life. You didn't get the job. Instead of spiraling, you reframe. Maybe this wasn't aligned with who I'm becoming. Maybe this is redirection, not rejection. Your flight is delayed. Again, you could complain, or you could reframe. Here's a chance to rest, to read, to reflect. You're criticized online. You reframe. Feedback, not failure. Growth, not judgment. Reframing is a superpower. It turns breakdowns into breakthroughs. It shifts you from victim to creator, from panic to purpose. It's what allowed Epictetus, born into slavery, to become one of history's greatest philosophers. He couldn't change his chains, but he could change how he wore them. And he did. And so can you. Here's the key. Reframing isn't a one-time act. It's a daily practice. You train yourself to pause. Then you train yourself to look again. More clearly, more wisely, more compassionately. Ask yourself, what else could this mean? What might this be preparing me for? How can I use this, not resent it? Sometimes the answers won't come right away. And that's okay. Even the questions break the cycle of reactivity. They bring you into presence, into possibility, into peace. Because when you reframe, you reclaim your power. Not by changing what happened, but by choosing what it means. That's the power of Stoic thinking. So the next time life throws you off course, pause and ask, how can I make this the way forward? Because the obstacle is the way, and the way is yours to walk. Part 3. Living in the present moment. We hear it all the time. Be present. Live in the now. But in a world built for distraction, presence has become a lost art. We check our phones before our feet touch the floor. We replay yesterday's mistakes. We obsess over tomorrow's deadlines. And in doing so, we miss the only thing that's truly real. This moment. The Stoics knew this long before the modern world drowned in noise. They didn't just talk about the present. They trained themselves to return to it. Again and again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, confine yourself to the present. Why? Because the present is where your power lives. You can't act in the past. You can't breathe in the future. You can only live right here, right now. But let's be honest, it's not easy, especially when your mind is racing, when you're haunted by what could have been, or paralyzed by what might be. This is where Stoicism becomes a lifeline, because it doesn't tell us to escape the moment. It calls us to return to it. Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future. So how do we do that? We start by noticing the now. Try this. Next time you're eating, just eat. Don't scroll. Don't rush. Every bite. When you're walking, just walk. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice your breath. Let it guide you back. When you're with someone, really listen. Not to respond, but to understand. These small acts, they're not small at all. They're training. Each moment of presence is a repetition that strengthens your awareness. Epictetus reminded us, people are not disturbed by things but by the view they take of them. And often, our view is distorted because we're not really here. We're reacting to ghosts of the past, or to imagined fears of the future. But presence cuts through all of it. It anchors you. It reminds you, this is real. This is enough. You are okay right now. When you're present, you don't just survive. You come alive. You notice the warmth in someone's voice, the beauty in something ordinary, the peace that comes, not from what happens, but from how you see it. Because here's the truth. The present moment is all you ever have. Everything else is memory or imagination. And if you're not living now, you're not really living. So ask yourself, where is my attention? Or what am I missing while my mind is elsewhere? Or what would it feel like to just be here for one full minute? You don't need a silent retreat. You don't need to delete every app. You just need to return. Again, and again, and again. This is the Stoic practice. Not escaping life, but fully engaging with it as it unfolds, moment by moment. So today, when the world pulls you in every direction, pause, breathe, notice where you are. That is your life, not the plan, not the someday, not the what if. This, right here, right now, be here, because now is all there ever is. Part 4. Choosing what you can control. There's a quiet truth at the heart of Stoicism. A truth that, once you really see it, can free you from so much of the anxiety, frustration, and helplessness we carry every day. You don't control everything, but you do control something. Your mind, your attitude, your response. Epictetus said it best. Some things are up to us and some things are not. It's one of the most liberating and also most confronting truths you'll ever learn. Because let's be honest, We want control. We want the traffic to move faster. We want people to agree with us. We want life to go according to plan. But it doesn't, and it never will. So the Stoics asked, why waste energy trying to control what was never yours to begin with? Why not reclaim that energy and invest it where it actually matters? Instead of fighting the weather, prepare for it. Instead of wishing someone would change, adjust how you show up. Instead of replaying the past, decide what you're going to learn from it. This isn't weakness. This is wisdom. Because when you focus on what's within your control, you return to your power. You become grounded, clear, intentional. Think about it. You can't control if someone criticizes you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control whether life is fair, but you can control whether you act with integrity. You can't control the chaos outside, but you can build calm inside. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Read that again. This isn't about giving up. It's about taking back what's yours. Because when you obsess over what you can't control, you become scattered, reactive, exhausted. But when you focus on what is yours, your thoughts, your character, your next step, you return to yourself. And that's where real transformation begins. Let's make it practical. Before a difficult conversation, you may not control how they react, but you can control your tone, your calm, your clarity. When bad news hits, you may not control the outcome, but you can control your breath, your posture, your grace. You don't need to control the world. You just need to control how you meet it. And when you do, when you act from that center, everything changes. You lead instead of follow. You respond instead of react. You create instead of complain. Because here's the truth. Most of your peace will never come from perfect circumstances. It will come from empowered choices. So when life feels heavy, pause and ask, what's truly mine to carry? What's outside of me? What can I influence right now with calm and courage? Then do that, even if it's small, even if it's one breath, one step, one kind response, because that's where your strength lives, not in controlling everything, but in remembering this. You don't control the storm. You control how you show up in it. So here we are. We've explored the power of the pause, the art of reframing, the beauty of presence, and the freedom that comes from knowing what you can and cannot control. But now comes the most important part. What will you do with all of this? Because no matter how beautiful the philosophy, it means nothing without action. The Stoics didn't just write about wisdom. They lived it. They embodied their values. They made mistakes, yes, but they showed up every day with courage, with awareness, with intention. Now, it's your turn. This moment right here, it's a crossroads. You can slip back into old patterns, react, worry, blame, or you can choose something different. You can choose to respond, to pause, to breathe, to meet life with open eyes and a steady heart. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be present, to be intentional, to live aligned with what matters most. Every day life will test you. People will let you down. Plans will fall apart. The noise will get loud. But in those moments, remember this. You still have a choice to return to your breath, to your values, to the kind of person you're becoming. So let this be your daily practice, not just to learn, but to live. Start small. One breath, one moment, one decision at a time. The Stoic path isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about becoming more resilient, more grounded, and more free. And if this journey sparked even the smallest shift inside you, take it further. Share this message with someone who's struggling, someone searching, someone who might just need a reminder that their power is still intact. And if you want more guidance, more tools, more ways to live with intention, join our community. We're walking this path together. One lesson, one breath, one moment at a time. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave us a comment below. What part of today's message resonated most with you? What's one area in your life where you want to respond instead of react? We read every comment. We hear you. and your voice matters here. Thank you for walking this path with us. And wherever life takes you next, always remember, you don't control everything, but you do control the most important thing, who you choose to be.